Welcome, impactful parents. Today, we're going to be talking about getting ready for summer. And we're going to talk about how to balance phone use, how to manage teen isolation, and then keeping our kids in good mental health throughout those summer months. Hello, my name is Christina Campos. I'm founder of The Impactful Parent, and I help parents of school age children who want to be one step ahead of their kids to turn their chaos into connection with their adolescent. I'm a mom of four, a teacher that's taught every grade from preschool through high school. And today I help moms and dads like yourself to navigate that exhausting, confusing, frustrating, but rewarding world of parenting. So, welcome to The Impactful Parent. And today I have a special guest. His name is Yuri Mello. And Yuri is the co founder of School Pulse. And School Pulse is an app for teens that can change how teens think and improve their mental health. Through daily texts and weekly videos, School Pulse delivers optimism, growth mindset strategies, and tools for students, parents, and even school faculty so that we can raise kids' spirits and challenge negative and intrusive thoughts. Yuri is also the author of the book called Mind Over Gray Matter and the best-selling teen guide, which is called Know Thy Selfie. On top of all of that, he's a dad. So thank you for being here today. I am excited to dive into this and how you can help our kids this summer. I want to start with that phone use because
Let's do
when
it.
I talk to parents, I think that is the biggest, I don't want to say concern because it's a concern, but it's like even so far to say a burden or like this heavy, it's a heaviness that I even feel on my own shoulders for my own teenagers that I have at home still. That when it comes to the summer months, you don't have the structure of the normal school year. You don't have the kids busy all day long in classes. And now it's up to us as a parent to make sure that they're not overloading on a screen. But when we have to work and we're not always around and they're old enough to be, at least somewhat unsupervised, now we're not stupid. Parents know that our kids are turning to their phone whenever they
Yeah.
can, whenever we're not looking. And that is just such a heavy weight on our parental shoulders throughout the summer months. It's like, I don't want my kid on that, electronic, but what else do I have them do when kids don't go play outside anymore like they used to? Or, and socialization is so much around the phone. So taking away the phone is not really the right answer either, because now we're going to get, well, fits, of course. We'll get a
Yeah.
lot of pushback, a lot of screaming and yelling. But not only that, but parents don't want to take the socialization away. It's just the unhealthy part of staring at something, about 6 inches from your face all day long. So, again, let's talk about our mental health. How do we control this? We know it's affecting our kids, these devices. What do we do this summer? What are some tips that you might have?
And it's really, I agree with your statement about the weight. It does feel a little bit that way. It almost feels like sometimes I'll be super honest, Christine. I feel like we're a little stuck. Like, and I'll just speak personally from it. Like I'm a little stuck. We've allowed this in, and now it's very difficult to to take it out. Like it's become something that I'm almost a little hopeless about, other than the idea that I feel like I actually believe that our children will figure this out. Like in a way, we forced them into this, and I actually believe that they're going to find a way out of this. I'll give you a couple of tips, and I'll just start with number one. And this is for me, like, and we use this. My wife and I use this. I'm sure all of your parents use this. But if you're not using screen time on your kids' phones, whether you have an Apple phone, you have that service that allows you to monitor and to set limits. Like, just do yourself a favor and do that. Um, that can actually eliminate some of the conflict. It may also create some, because when your kids run out of screen time, they'll probably be asking you for more screen time. Um, but it also can help them to kind of create a little bit of, to manage themselves, right? And ultimately, that's what we want our kids to do, right? Is we want them to self manage at some point. We want them to be able to kind of emotionally regulate their own their own things instead of just having to have us monitor it for them. If you don't have an iPhone and you have an Android, Android also has that. I think Google has some of those same features as well. And just it's time for you to do a little bit of your own homework, and let's figure out how to just set some limits. Like, I don't think it's wise for us to just let our kids or trust them to self regulate. The phones are just too good, to be honest. It's just too good. It's too good. It's too easy. And the way that I think our children's brains are targeted there, it just makes it very challenging for them. And so I would say use that number one, like just start, create some screen time limitations and help them to regulate. It's not about, it's, we want to be able to be trusting of our children, but the reality is they just need help. Like, we've given them something that's so unbelievably powerful, and there's a pretty good chance that they're not going to manage it well until they suffer. And we can wait for them to suffer. That's okay too. Like, the realization, like, there's suffering in life, and pain can be a masterful teacher. We don't always want that for our kids, but pain is certainly going to teach them, just like it taught you and I, right? Like, it's taught me some pretty dang good lessons. But I would say that that's the very first thing. The second thing that I would say is, kind of here in our home, we kind of have a little bit of a rule specifically for our kids that are in school. Is one of the rules that we have for them specifically is you have to be involved in at least one thing, like whatever that is. And it can be two things or three things, whether that's choir or band or soccer or basketball or gymnastics or cheer or whatever it is, like, or some other club or job. Like, you have to be doing something and you have to pick it.
The thing that you just said, I want parents not to skim over, is that they have to pick it. So when I'm, even for myself too, as I have 4 children, but 2 of them are still teenagers in my house. When I'm getting
Okay.
ready to approach summer, they know that the rules change. Everything, as soon as that day, I'll give them a couple days after school's out to do whatever they want and decompress. But after that, the rules of the house do definitely change. And yes, I am intentionally creating activities for my child so that they can keep busy, whether that's saying, hey, you need to play, you need to move your body today. What are you going to do? But see, the boundary is, for me, you need to move your body today, or you need to be outside today, or you need to take this type of lesson, whatever your thing as a parent is. The key is letting the child pick what it is they're going to do within your boundary. So to tell a child, you need to go play soccer today, that makes them not want to play soccer. That makes them hate soccer because now they feel like they have to play soccer. But if they get to choose soccer instead as their outdoor activity, because you just said you have to go outside today for an hour, that's the key there for parents, is that you need to let them still have a lot of autonomy in what are they going to do within your boundary. So make sure that you're not narrowing it down and telling your kid exactly what they need to get done. Instead, it's, hey, even when I do chores for the summer, because again, another thing that you can do, say, this is what you need to do today in order to fill up their day with something that's non-electronic. And it could definitely be work around the house. And I'll say, these are the things you need to get done today. They have to be done by this particular time period. And again, I'm not telling them you have to have it done before you get up. You have to have it done before I'm saying, nope, here's your time limit. And there again is my boundary, is get it done. Their autonomy is when they can get it done.
Yeah.
And there'll be consequences, of course, if it's not done on time and things like that. And, but that's another conversation for another part of parenting. But just to give parents that idea and to keep them busy. Now, with your app, and because School Pulse is an app, correct?
It's actually not an app. It's when kids opt into our service, and you can actually, like, this little QR code that you kind of see there. That's actually kind of our
Yeah.
demo. But when kids do that, they actually get a text right on their phone. So it's not, they don't have
Okay.
to download anything. They don't have to create a username or password. We just put this throughout schools, and then we provide this proactive like our
So it's
proactive tools. So for
a
example,
program that
yeah,
we're,
that's right.
like a computer, yeah, some kind of electronic
Yeah.
program. And when I bring that up because everything that it seems that we're getting kids to do has that filter of going through some sort of electronic, and
Hmm.
including some of the great stuff like School Pulse, like
Yeah,
the Impactful Parent app, like
that's
all
right.
these things we filter through an electronic. And I think sometimes as parents, we got to step back and go, every time they're on their phone, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, there's some really good things that they're engaging with on their electronic device. And so with School Pulse, I'm kinda curious, do you how does that help them during the summer months? How can they use this part of their, electronic time to fill in some of that empty space that we're talking about?
Yeah, I love that. I think maybe I can go into a little bit of maybe the kind of the overall philosophy behind what we do. So
Yeah,
the reason why yeah, the reason why we go through phones, just like what you're describing, right, is because that's where they are, right? Like kids are there, and in a sense, instead of just kind of this tsunami of sometimes negativity and uncontrolled behavior that our kids can get, whether it's via email or social media or on the web, like what we're trying to provide is some awesome resources, videos that are inspiring and motivating and that can educate them. And to be super honest, like our goal is to promote kind of the positive psychology and growth mindset type principles that will get them out of their phone, right, out of uh, this type of interaction into real and embodied interactions. And so positive relationships are the absolute best predictor of long-term happiness, like period. Like if you're looking at factors like how can I get my child to be happier like now and in the future, like help them to create positive relationships in their life. Like that is the best predictor for you and I, by the way, as well. In addition, and how do we go about building those, right? Like, well, we do that by placing ourselves in those circumstances. I always kind of say it's an old AA Alcoholics Anonymous saying, like people, places, and things. And the way that they use that in AA, right, is when you're looking to make a change in your behavior, if you really want to change, then you have to change your people, your places, and the things that you do, right? And when you do that, then you're kind of creating a systemic change. And I think the challenge for our kids right now is we've given them something that really is powerful. Like it's powerful. It feels real, it looks real, it tastes real. It just doesn't quite provide that it in fact it seems to do the opposite. Like it doesn't provide us with the actual relationship. It doesn't provide us with that meaningful gain. It actually ends up creating some problems for them. And I think that that's what the research now I would say has pretty conclusively shown is that the more time that kids spend on that technology, like the more fragmented their memory is, the less connected they feel, the more they withdraw, the more they are avoidant of other interactions because this phone is so it's so persuasive. It seems to be filling those needs, it just isn't. Like it's like eating popcorn. You think you're getting the calories, it's just, but it's not. Like,
so School
yeah,
Pulse, I think it fills in that gap and is something positive for kids so that they're not feeling quite as empty. Is that what I'm gathering?
yeah, because when students engage specifically, like if when we proactively text students, right? Students engage and they're not getting AI, they're getting real people who are going to greet them with enthusiasm and kindness and gentleness, honestly, and enthusiasm. But you have to remember, like, our goal isn't to maintain people there. Our goal is to reconnect students back to their parents, back to their primary networks. So we're not necessarily the solution. We're definitely promoting the solution. And so I think that that's one of the things that you'll find. And we hope that your parents will have access to this as well. We have a couple of videos, I think specifically about things to do for the summer, specifically for your teen, that you can share with your teens, that you can listen to yourself. But that's really our goal. Our goal is to promote what we would say are kind of the positive psychology concepts that will lead your child to have an awesome life.
That brings me to the next point that I'd like
Love it.
to take, and that is our secondary fear as parents. And I think if the first thing I hear is, "Oh my gosh, what am I gonna do about electronics this summer?" The second thing I hear from parents is, "Oh my gosh, how do I get my child to stop self-isolating?" Because again,
It's tough.
it is just the big concerns of parents in the summer where, again, they're not at school. So now we're watching our child hide in their rooms, play on their electronics all day long. And again, it goes back to, I hate to say it, those devices again.
Hmm.
But it's not just about the device, it's the device is keeping them busy. They're isolating. And so then you get kids that, because the socialization is just so much different today than it was when we were their age, they end up not going outside, they end up not doing those things, and now they're just sitting in their room and they're taking long naps or they're scrolling and they're, swiping, and the mental health of kids during that time is just terrifying to so many parents who see that as this big red flag of burp, burp, something's going on with your kid. What are you going to do? How does School Pulse fit into that? And what do you say to parents who are worried about that right now? Because it's a big worry for a lot of moms and dads coming up
For sure.
this summer.
Let's hop right in that conversation. Is I would say, throw yourself into the mix as a parent. Um, and what I mean by that is, I'm not asking you to be kind of the entertainment director at your house, because I know you've got your own things to do and parents are busy themselves. I feel like life is incredibly demanding. Um, and that can be a blessing and a curse at the same time. But I would say, throw yourself into the mix. Like, so for example, this morning, we have one of our oldest daughters, the one who just graduated and then is moving somewhere else to go to work when school starts for her. But she's here, and we woke up at about 6:40, and somehow she's good enough, but I've convinced her or cajoled her in some way to come running with me every morning, right? And so that's what I would say is, as a parent, throw yourself into the equation of how this summer is going to be a better time. And whether that's exercising with your kids, whether that's hiking with them, whether that's going to the gym, whether that's playing basketball with them, whether that's taking an art class or a ceramic class in town, or looking for community opportunities. That's what I would say, is throw yourself into the mix. Don't just kind of like, kick your kid and like go get fixed somewhere else. Um, Kind of what I call like drive-by therapy. Parents just come in, throw their kid in my office and just like fix him. Um, and so that's what I would say, is become part of the solution as a parent. Like, join in on the activity. Like, find something that you can do with them, and you can be part of that solution. And that includes, right, whether you're planning on uh a vacation, or a couple of small little vacations, or even just activities that you can do on the weekend. I would say, maybe put a little bit of thought on your side as to how you're going to contribute to those positive outcomes that you want. But I think it's really important for you guys to have some of those times, because you're right, the phone can be very isolating. There's a great quote. I don't remember the author, so I'm going to steal it from her. Dang it! But you guys can probably find it. But one of the challenges that we find with phones, right, is that kids are. Oh man, I'm going to forget exactly how she said it, but uh, is that kids are constantly elsewhere when they're on their phones. They're not there, right? And I think, if we look at our own too, right? I think when we enter our phones are so compelling, that we literally leave where we are and we go to wherever that is, right? And so
Well,
one
that
of
is
my
part of why it's so appealing. You get
That's
to
right.
it's like a costume, and you get to leave your
That's a good
life,
point.
you know? You get to live your life, and that's how so many teens cope because they can escape that way. I love your suggestion about us getting involved. I feel like so many parents, I don't know why, it's like such a like top of mind thing to do. Like, well, duh, get involved, do things with your kid.
Yeah,
But a lot of times we don't think about that. We're like, we need to get them into something. And it's not about, I need to do something with them because that puts a lot of effort and time on
sure.
us. And we're already tired. I will say this, parents, if you're exhausted at the end of your day, you're doing something right. That's
Yeah,
how you're supposed to be as a parent. You're supposed to put in this effort that at the end of the day, you are tired. You're tired from all of
yeah.
the giving that you've given to your kids. So, um, and I think that sometimes we look at the tiredness at the end of the day as, oh, I'm so tired. Something's wrong, or, it's like look at negatively. Actually, I'm going to say pat yourself on the back. That means you did a good job today as a parent if you were tired at the end of your day, especially at the end of a summer day.
Yeah. Can I give you
Now,
one more quick suggestion too, Christina? This
yeah,
is
go
this
ahead.
is one this is one that we do every summer. Is we create a bucket list for the summer, and we actually get like a little whiteboard, right? And we just create a bucket list. Like, we want to do these mountain bike trails. We're going to do a climb over here. Like, we're going to go to, Las Vegas, blah, 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 this day. We're going to go to Disneyland one time. We're going to go camp, you know, but like, just, and by the way, they don't have to be that big. It could be like, we're going to get ice cream at Chick-fil-A, whatever. Like, we're going
Yeah.
to go do a bonfire, blah, blah, blah. We're going to have a a pool party, or we're going to invite
Yeah.
someone. But I think the idea is just create this bucket list. I constantly tell people like that our brains run better with a direction. They just absolutely do. And when we create a little bit of a vision, and once again, I'm just talking about these little variables, right? That when we add this to this to this to this, like, we get better outcomes. And we may not be completely resolving the phone problem, but man, we're doing a lot of other things that are going to help them throughout their life too. So maybe it's not like the phone is the enemy and all my focus and energy is there. In fact, I think, and maybe this is kind of what that positive psychology approach is about, is sometimes in psychology we have a tendency to focus on the risk factors, right? We're constantly focused on, like, oh my gosh, like the bad that can happen. And I think what positive psychology has taught us is that that we need to spend more time on building instead of just trying to manage the illness part of us, like the deficiency of us. So
I
think
love
of it
that.
like, yeah, when you're creating those activities with your kids, when you're engaging with them, you're actually building the protective factors that will prevent some of the issues that can come from that. So that's really important. And so
I think
whatever
that's
positive
gold.
engagement you're doing is great.
Yeah, I
Go
think
ahead,
it's
Christina.
gold for the parents to hear because we're like so worried about taking away the phone instead of concentrating on taking away the phone. Why don't we concentrate on all the things that we can do without a phone instead? And then
Yeah,
when you create those bucket lists, when you create these activities, I just, and again, could be as simple as finish this book by the end of the summer.
love it, love it.
I mean, so it does not have to necessarily be an activity. When you create an activity that's, I should say, moving your body, it could be any activity that's not on a phone. And when you create that list, it really helps. I would tell parents they should post the list somewhere where everybody can see it, cross things off as they get done, because that feels like a feeling of accomplishment for especially for younger children, but for all ages. And then when your child is bored and you're asking your child to take an electronic break because they've been there, you can say, go to the board. There are some ideas of something that you can do, whether that's go for a walk,
Love it.
go to your park, go for a bike ride. Again, listing out and having that visual list of all the things that you can do not on your phone that's readily available for your child to access at any time, even just look at. I think this is awesome. Any last words or anything you want to tell our audience about School Pulse so that they can go and download it today?
Yeah, I mean, number one, please go check it out. I think you'll be thrilled. Honestly, I think you'll find that the videos are engaging and can just be, like you said, Christina, a source that can actually support the things that you're already promoting. But sometimes, right, like a tennis coach or a piano teacher, like just somebody else providing that information, it just makes an impact. I don't know how else to tell you.
I'm glad you decided to be here today. Begin your Impactful Parent journey by downloading the Impactful Parent app. The Impactful Parent app is free so that you can carry help, tips, and parenting resources right in your pocket. Discover answers to your parenting questions and download the app today because it's free. Just go to your phone's app store and discover how you can step up your parenting game and become a more impactful parent. Also, remember that this episode is just a small part of what the Impactful Parent offers. Also available are online courses, parent support groups, coaching services, and of course, the app. So find out more by going to theimpactfulparent.com. But until next time, you got this. I'm just here to help.